All right, how appropriate hitting baseballs. Tonight, Red Sox, Cardinals. Would it be bad if I say I am not rooting for the Red Sox? Don't shut it off just because I said that. All right, so hitting baseballs. John's hitting baseballs. When he tosses the ball into the air, his hand is 5 feet above the ground. So when he releases, it's up at 5 feet. He hits the ball when it falls back down to a height of 4 feet. The height of the ball is given by a quadratic equation where t is in seconds. So, I mean, this is not something that we haven't seen before. How much time will pass before John hits the ball? And what's the maximum height the ball attains? Oh, wait a minute. Maximum height? So we've done that before. Maximum height means I need to find the vertex. How much time will pass before he hits the ball? So then that means I'm going to have to figure out when it comes back down to 4 feet because I'm releasing at 5. So when it comes back down, that's when I need to figure this out. So you always want to try to logically think through, what are they asking for? What is it that they're looking for? Try to visualize what is going on. That's why I've got this little picture, and I have no idea who that is there. It looks like it says Guerrero, like Vlad Guerrero. But so now let's take a look at what we're being asked to do. Okay, so this is exactly what I said before. This is the stuff that's in red. It's exactly what I said already. So that way, in case you missed, what I had said, it's right there. All right. Scrolling down then. This is the equation I have. When am I going to hit the ball? Well, not me, because I'm not exactly very great at the whole baseball thing. Volleyball I can do, baseball not so much. So John's going to hit it when it's 4 feet off the ground. So that means the height here is going to be 4. That's when I'm going to hit the ball. So substitute 4 in. Now, if I look at this, I said we got to figure out where it's going to come back down. That means I need to set this equation equal to 0 so I can find the intercepts. The x-intercepts, which are the zeros of the function. And in this case, it's going to be when John decides to crank the ball out of the park. So I subtract 4 from both sides. 0 is equal to 1 plus 25t minus 16t squared. All right, so as I look at this, this is not going to be something that's easy to factor, if it's factorable at all. So I'm going to have to use something different. Now, you've probably seen this before. Okay, this is the quadratic formula so that you can go through, substitute the values in, and then come up with what x would equal. Now, I'm going to warn you. I'm going to pull the pen here. Okay, this is not in the order that we usually see it, but you have to remember that A always goes with the square term. B always goes with the linear, which is just the singular t, so this is B. And then the constant is always by itself without any other variable with it. So as I look at this formula here, which again, this formula you'll be given during the MCA, I take the opposite of B, negative 25. That's going to go right there. I take B and I square it, so I'm going to put 25 into here. This is why I labeled all these first. I take A, I substitute it into there. I take C, substitute into there. Take A, which is negative 16, I put it down into here. So you're just going to take the values, you're going to substitute them in, and then you're just going to solve the particular equation that you have. So here, I'm going to go through step by step again because I don't want to lose anyone. I want to make sure that we understand. So all I did was I just substituted the values in like I said. So now we got to take a look and say, all right, well, which operations do I first? PEMDAS, so parentheses. This kind of stuff in here acts as a set of parentheses, but I can't really do much of it here. This dude's just hanging out by himself. These guys are in the bottom. They're just going to multiply eventually. So now I got to look at exponents, and here we go. So 25 squared. Well, I know I'm going to just use a calculator to get 25 squared. 25 squared is 625. That's all I did because I didn't want to do too many steps at once. Okay, so now we go back down here. What did I do? Oh, I just did all the multiplication now. Negative 4 times negative 16 times 1 is positive 64. Again, you're going to have a calculator do this. 2 times negative 16, negative 32. Well, what's left here? Let's see. This dude's just chilling. This one is now all set. I got to deal with what's underneath this square root symbol. So I got to deal with 625 plus 64. That's going to give me 689. So the square root of 689. When you use your calculator, you'll notice it doesn't come out pretty nice. Would you expect a baseball to come back down at a very pretty nice timing? No, I wouldn't. I mean, you're just tossing it up in the air, and when it comes back down, you're going to hit the ball. It's not going to be this, it's exactly 2 seconds. It's not going to work that way. So this square root of 689, you're going to approximate. You're going to use the calculator, punch in square root 689. It's going to give you a long number. You're going to round it at a nice location. So where I decided to round was at the value of 26.25, because I think the next two values were 0 or 0.3. So very small, it's not going to contribute anything really. Now what's this plus or minus thing? Plus or minus just means I'm going to take negative 25, I'm going to add to that 26.25. Once I get that value, I'm going to divide by negative 32, and bam, there's my x. Then, so that's taking the high road, if you will, and then I take the low road. If you can see right here, you can tell that we're starting to, I'm just branching it off so that you can see these are the two things that I'm going to have to do. I literally separated them for you, so that way you can see that's all that means. You're going to get two values here. All right, so now we separate that. We figure out what this would be. You're using the calculator again. No big deal. So when this one comes through and I do the arithmetic, I'm going to get a positive up top, negative down below. That means I get a negative value for time. Then I'm over here and I get a positive value for time. All right, so let's think logically here. Negative values for the amount of time before I hit a ball. So I'm hitting the ball before I even toss it. That value doesn't make sense. So since it doesn't make sense, it's just, yeah, I don't pay attention to it. And why is my pen not working? There it goes. I just don't pay attention to it because that doesn't make any sense. But 1.6 seconds after, that does make sense. All right, so let's continue. Do both of these times seem reasonable? No, that's what I just said. Okay, can we hit a ball before we toss it? No. That's what the negative means, so therefore that's not a practical value. It's not a practical solution. It makes no sense. The only one that does make sense is that 1.6 seconds after he tosses the ball into the air, he hits it. Okay, so a little less than 2 seconds. All right, so then the other question. What was the other question? What's the height? So what's the maximum height the ball attains after being tossed? Again, we're in a parabola. Maximum height happens at the vertex. I know the vertex is going to be on the axis of symmetry, so I got to figure out where the axis of symmetry is. How many times have we done this? Stop saying too many. So now here's the values. Sorry, not the values, obviously, but here's x is equal to the opposite of b divided by 2a. All I'm going to do here, and I left it kind of blank down here for a reason, because I want to do it out with you. Okay, so let's see, I need my pen again. All right, so the opposite of b was negative 25. I don't know why it's going so slow and waiting. Divided by 2 times a. A was negative 16, so it's a negative 32. All right. Now, just like you're going to have a calculator, I'm going to have a calculator. In theory. I think it's still in my bag. No, there we go. See, it's even green, Cherokee colors. All right, so I'm just going to go through. I'm going to take my negative 25 divided by negative 32. And I get that this is at approximately 0.78125. Okay, what does that mean? So x, remember that when we're dealing with it in this case, the x is the amount of time, which that makes logical sense. If this thing is going up and at 1.6 seconds it's back down where I need to hit it, then I should be really close to the middle. All right, so now I got to go back up and grab that equation. So let's see, right there. So that's the equation that I need. I'm literally just going to copy this thing and bring it down. Okay, back down to where we were here. Okay, so we'll just paste that. Move it a little bit so it's not in any way. And I just have to do a little minor adjustment here. Whoa, what are you doing? Okay, excuse the technical errors, but there it goes. All right, just trying to get it so I have a little bit of room underneath. And then we can move the shade. Actually, let's just get rid of the shade for now. Sorry. All right, so now let's take these values and substitute them in. So I want to get back to my pen here. All right, so I have to do h of 0.78125. And I'm just going to substitute all my values in. So 5 plus 25, and this you're all going to do with the calculator, times, and literally, you know what? Type it in just like this. The calculator will do the order of operations correctly for you. Okay, I got room here, so 0.78125 squared. All right, so I'm literally typing that in here. So 5 plus 25 times 0.78125 minus 16 times 0.78125, and then I hit the square button. So it will do it in the right order. I don't know how well you can see that, okay, but it'll go through and it'll calculate it exactly as I ask. So this then means that the ball, the height after this amount of time, is going to be about 14.77 feet. All right, so then the highest that John throws the ball is 17, is almost 15 feet off the ground. Gives him enough time to react, to go ahead and swing and put the ball out into the field. All right, so remember, you can go back, you can review, you can get into the areas and watch certain parts again. You can just slide back and forth, figure out what I'm talking about. All right, so please review this. Please do this again. Figure out exactly what you understand and what you don't understand. All right, good luck.